Okay, everybody, so moving on, because that was 15 minutes, and I know some people have short attention spans, or they have short amounts of time to be able to watch, and then they forget and don't get back to me, maybe they watch part and they want to get back and then they forget. And also it keeps it nice and concise. So moving on, Genesis 1:26, so that we can sort of slide into the next one a little bit smoothly. Genesis 1:26. Yes, it says, let us make man in our image after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea. So God created man, verse 27. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. So that's what I wanted to show in that one. Male and female, he created them. So God was the creator, not the angels. Now I want to go on, and I'm gonna have to back up a little bit. Oh wait, there is one thing. They said it's in Job. Wow, I opened right up to Job. That's kind of weird. Job 38. Job 38. I didn't even have to look for it. It opened right up to it. Job 38, verses 4-7. Where were you when I laid the foundation of the earth? Tell me if you have understanding. Who determined its measurements? Surely you know. Or who stretched the line upon it? God's talking to Job here. Or what were its bases sunk? On what were its bases sunk? Or what laid its cornerstone? When the morning stars sang together, and all the sons of God shouted for joy. When the morning stars sang together, that's the angels, right? And all the sons of God shouted for joy. So all the angels sang together for joy after God created it. So they sang for joy. They didn't create it, but they glorified God for everything he had done. They thought it was great. So God is the one who created. Or who shut in the sea with doors? So there we go. It says, have you commanded the morning since your days began, and caused the dawn to know its place? No, but God did that, right? Have you commanded the morning since your days began, and caused the dawn to know its place? No, but God does. That it might take hold of the skirts of the earth, and the wicked be shaken out of it. So that's going to go on to another topic, but it shows that God created. He's saying, do you not know? Do you not realize who did it? Right? It says, who determined the measurements? Surely you know. Or who stretched the line upon it? On what were its bases sunk? See that? So it says, who did it? And all the angels sang together for joy. Now, with all the angels singing together for joy, it says also, when the morning stars sang together, and all the sons of God shouted for joy. All right, and then we have one more to go along with that I wanted to show you guys in Revelations, which I'm sure a lot of you have heard. Revelations 22:16. I, Jesus, have sent my angel to testify to you about these things. For the churches, I am the root and the descendant of David, the bright morning star. He's the bright star, the bright morning star. And what's the bright morning star? The sun. So there's the sun and the moon, and they come together as one day. Doesn't talk about God being a moon or God being, the lesser light or anything. But it does kind of show you, if he calls himself a morning star, the morning star is the sun. It kind of makes me think back to Genesis, how God says there's a morning and the nighttime, and they become one day. Now, of course, God is actually super bright and we can't look at him. So that takes me back to Exodus. And I'm going to do more on the bright morning star because some people get onto this thing about I don't have it written right here. Some people get onto this thing about Satan being the sun, the morning sun also. He's the fallen sun. And it goes into a conversation about, him being the lesser light. He's the fallen one, and Jesus is the bright one that stays up in the sky. So they're not the same thing. Just like he called the angels, he called them stars also. But God is the bright and morning star. Satan is a fallen star. So they're, when they talk about entities, sometimes they use the word stars. Just like there's a verse where he says that we are gods. It doesn't mean we're a god. It just is a word for spirit. All right. Well, I'll get more into that later. I have verses to back all that up. It also says that Jesus is the Lion of David, and Satan is like a roaming lion looking who he may devour. So they're not the same thing. They're two separate things. I'll give you the verses for it in the next video, and it'll be sort of like a repeat of what I just said. Let's go on now, though, okay? So, Exodus. Oopsies, I'm in Genesis. I need Exodus. Exodus 33. I want to show you guys something in Exodus. Exodus 33. Verses, let's start with verses 18, verse 11, and then we need 18. Verse 11, 33, verse 11. Thus the Lord used to speak to Moses face to face, as a man speaks to his friend. When Moses turned again into the camp, his assistant Joshua, the son of Nun, a young man, would not depart from the tent. So there it says, the Lord used to speak to Moses face to face, as a man speaks to his friend. All right, now we have verse 18. Moses said, please show me your glory. He's talking to God. See, it says, and we'll go back to verse 17. And the Lord said to Moses, this very thing that you have spoken I will do. For you have found favor in my sight. I know you by name. Moses said, please show me your glory. And he said, I will make all my goodness pass before you, and will proclaim before you my name, the Lord. And I will be gracious to whom I will be gracious, and will show mercy on whom I will show mercy. But he said, you cannot see my face, for man shall not see me and live. And the Lord said, behold, there's a place by me where you shall stand on the rock. And while my glory passes by, I will put you in a cleft of the rock, and I will cover you with my hand until I have passed by. Then I will take away my hand, and you shall see my back, but my face shall not be seen. So Moses could not see God's face because it was too bright. Now I want to tell you something. So the Jews, they believe, right? This is the thing. I'll make a second video. I'm just going to have to break this all up. Or third, I guess. Anyway, the Jews believe, and I think the Muslims might believe this too. I'm not sure. So Muslims, if you're on here, you could tell me. Anyway, they believe that Moses saw his reflection. Now, I want you guys to tell me something. You might have to go and try it out and think about it, right? Have any of you gone to a lake, even on a not very sunny day, but the sun shines on that lake and you look right at where the sun is shining? Because that's how it would have been. If it was a reflection of God's face, which is super bright, all right? And so here's God's face, and here's the reflection. Now, you're going to be looking at God's face. So you could be looking right at that light. You're not going to be looking around it. I mean, you might get distracted, whatever. But let's say you're looking right at God, right? You're talking to him, and he's going to show you his face. So he's going to show you his reflection. You look right at that reflection. Now, you have to look right at the reflection of the sun because that is the closest to the equivalent we have. You think about it. You go to a lake or a river. You look right where that sun, right where the sun is reflecting, not around it where it's lesser light, right at the very spot. Wouldn't that hurt your eyes? Have you ever taken a picture of the sun and you look through your camera and then even you looked at the picture? It's just so bright in that picture. You could try that too. Take your camera, put it right at the light. Now don't go looking at the sun and hurting your eyes. Don't go looking right through your camera because you're still going to hurt your eyes, even though there's that filter between you and the camera. Put your camera up to the sun. Take a picture. Now, bring that to you. Look at that picture. Man, it's still going to be so bright, it's going to hurt your eyes. It wouldn't have been his reflection that he would have seen. He only saw his back. He never saw God's face, not even in reflection. It would have hurt his eyes and he could have gone blind even looking at that. Especially as bright as God is, if his face is so bright that it could kill someone, then looking at the reflection could still make you go blind. Because that's bright. Okay, that's just my thought on that. You might disagree, but that's the way I see that. Then we have the other one in Exodus. I have another passage in Exodus I want to look at. And that's Exodus 24. And then I'll cut it short and I'll make another video because I know you guys don't like real long videos. Even though some of you will watch another video and another video and another video. But hey, some of you might not have time for a long one. Exodus 24, 9 to 11. Then Moses and Aaron, Nadab and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel went up, and they saw the God of Israel. Of course, it doesn't say they saw his face, but there was under his feet, as it were, a pavement of sapphire stone, like the very heaven for clearness. And he did not lay his hand on the chief men of the people of Israel. They beheld God. Wait a second now. They beheld God and ate and drank. Do you think that they were looking at the back of God? I don't know. And even for God to have walked up to him, he'd have to have been walking backwards so they wouldn't see his face. Or he'd have to cover his face, and God doesn't believe in covering his face. So, who was it that they saw? All right. Let's go on because, oh yes, just 9 to 11. Well, let's go ahead and read verse 12 too. The Lord said to Moses, "Come up to me on the mountain and wait there, that I may give you the tablets of stone with the law and the commandments which I have written for their instruction." So Moses rose with his assistant Joshua, and Moses went up into the mountain of God. And he said to the elders, "Wait here for us until we return to you." So Moses mountain, he went up into that mountain. It says, then Moses went up in the mountain, and the cloud covered the mountain. The glory of the Lord dwelt on Mount Sinai. Now, before it called the glory of the Lord in the other verse his face, because he says, "Let me see your glory," and then he responds, "You cannot see my face." So his glory is his face. The glory of the Lord dwelt on Mount Sinai, and the cloud covered it 6 days. And on the 7th day he called Moses out of the midst of the cloud. Now the appearance of the glory of the Lord was like a devouring fire on the top of the mountain in the sight of the people of Israel. Bright, bright, bright. It was so bright it was like bright like fire, kind of like the sun. Moses entered the cloud and went up on the mountain, and Moses was on the mountain 40 days and 40 nights. But remember, there was a cloud there, so the cloud would have protected him. Now, that's why we went on to, so that starts with 24, and then we do the 33. So back to 33 again. Back to 33 again. 18 to verses, let's go to 11. Okay, go take 2 right then. Thus the Lord used to spoke to Moses face to face as a man speaks to his friend. See, now how's he going to speak to him face to face if he's so bright? Thus the Lord used to speak to Moses face to face as a man speaks to his friend. See, so here we saw in Exodus 24 that he was so bright like a fire. Okay, hold on. He was so bright like a fire, and then so God had to put the cloud there. He says, "I'll meet you up there," but he's so bright the people couldn't look at him. And then he says that he's so bright. He says, "And the Lord said to Moses, this very thing that you have spoken I will do." Says, "Please show me your glory." And he said, "I will make my goodness pass before you and will proclaim before you the name of the Lord. And I will be gracious to whom I will gracious." He says, "But you cannot see my face, for man may not see my face and live." So there you go. See, now he's talking to him face to face, but he can't see his face. See? Let's go one more time and get it in there. Where was it? Where did I just say it? Exodus 33:11. Thus the Lord used to speak to Moses face to face. And here it says, "You cannot see my face." See, hold on. Chapter 33, verse 11. The Lord used to speak to Moses face to face. Chapter 3, verse 20. "But you cannot see my face, for a man shall not see my face and live." He spoke to him face to face. He used to speak to him face to face. He said, "You cannot see." Now, if you're speaking face to face, you're not looking at a reflection. You're speaking face to face. You're not looking at it. Face to face does not mean. He would have said he used to speak to God looking at it, seeing him through a reflection. Why couldn't God say that? If God is so, if he's so great and obvious, which he is, right? God is all-knowing. He's wise. He would have been wise enough to have them right. He used to speak to God looking at his reflection because he could not look at the brightness thereof. It would have said that, and it didn't. He said he used to speak to him face to face. Over in Exodus 24, it said he was so bright like the sun, so bright like a fire that no one could look at him. And then it says, "I'll go past you so that you can look at my back." He said he'll look at my back. He didn't say so you can see my reflection. He didn't say, I'll have my back to you so you'll see my reflection. If God is all-knowing, God is all-wise, he could have had it written. He could have had it written. "You cannot see my face, for a man shall not see me and live." He said, "Then I will take," and he says, "Then I'll take my hand and you shall see my back." He said, "You shall see my back." He didn't say, "You shall see my back, but look at my reflection." He did not say that. It says, "For my face shall not be seen." He didn't say, "But my face shall not be looked upon directly." He said, "But my face shall not be seen." He did not say, "But my face shall not be seen directly." He said, "But my face shall not be seen." I'm sorry, you guys, but there's two. I know you don't want to believe it, and I'll show you in another video. You may not even want to come back to see more, but that should have you thinking, really and truly. If you look right at the lake, you go to the lake and you look right where that sun is shining, it's going to be too bright for your eyes. I have gone to a lake. I'm very fair-skinned, as you can see. I've gone to a lake on a cloudy day, looked out at that lake where the sun was shining, and I've still come back with a red face. Just looking at the reflection of the sun on a cloudy day. And there's still the sun breaking through a little bit, and it hits that light. And I'm sitting right next to the water. So when you're next to the water, it reflects that light. And it's bright. And it always, always, always makes my face and my arms red, even on a cloudy day when I go to the lake. Not on other days when I go other places on a cloudy day. But when I go near that river, or when I go near the lake, we have both. We have rivers, we have lakes, we have ponds. When I go near the water, where the sun is shining, my skin ends up red. Not from the sun itself, because these aren't cloudy days I'm talking about. Sunny days too, of course. But even on cloudy days, I can come back red-skinned. Why? Because the reflection is also bright enough to burn your skin. So if God, as it says in Exodus 24, is as bright as a fire that nobody could look upon it, and God himself said, you cannot look at my face because you'll die, not because you'll get sunburnt, but you'll die, then therefore the reflection would have been a lesser light, still strong enough to blind somebody or burn their skin. That's what I got on that. So the reflection idea, I'm sorry, but it just doesn't work. And I'll be doing a slightly bit more. I know this is long, but I'll be doing slightly bit more because I've been planning on getting this done. Thank you for being with me. That's, I don't know what, part 3 or something. Thank you for being here, and I hope you'll come back to hear some more. Take your notes, you guys. Christians, take your notes. Take your notes. Write them down on note cards. Leave them here or there. Prepare yourself for any conversation you might have with someone who wants to talk about this, if they talk about it, because you got to know, it's got to be on your forehead. You got to be prepared. You're supposed to try to save those who you can. Have these conversations if you can with those who you can. Share my videos if you think that they explain well enough. Give me a like if you can, if you think it's good enough, and I'll be seeing you next time. Bye-bye.